Hello, everyone. Welcome again to another episode of Tapping into the Energy of Life. Today, we have a very interesting topic. It's called The Universe Speaks. Are you listening? I'm Palak, and we have Maria and Carol. That's it. Over to you, Maria.
I love this subject because I think the universe is talking to us all the time. And in the teachings and the trainings that I do with my clients and my students, the first thing that we talk about is how to develop intuition, which is actually our connection with the universe and learning how that relationship is there all the time. So we talk about mainly the four ways in which we connect with that universe talking to us, and it's mainly the eyesight, the hearing, our feelings, and our bodies, and our minds and the thoughts. And so we call that clear audience, clairvoyance, clear thought, and clear feelings, not clear sentient people. So we're all those four in a proportion, but we tend to take away the importance of the messages we receive. But we are getting messages all the time. We're just saying, no, that's not true. I just made it up, or I'm just tired, instead of realizing that you're feeling things. So when I talk about that with my students and I tell them that we're in a field and we're connected to that field and we're part of it and we're receiving all that information all the time, it's just that we haven't really realized how it happens and we're thinking that we're disconnected. So when they start receiving and noticing and being aware, they say their lives become epic because suddenly they're thinking about something and they're seeing signs and things that are related, synchronicities that start to happen. And that is telling them to be more coherent. And when they have become more coherent, life is just unfolding in a way. And so many things that happen to them are in line with what they think, what they feel, and who they are. So that's why their lives become epic, because suddenly they're thinking about doing womb healing and suddenly they meet somebody that does it, and a channeler comes and tells them that they did that in a past life. And so many informations start to happen and come to them so that they start doing that they were thinking about doing. And so it may start very simple, in a very simple way, with a thought, or you walking along the street and reading a sign that is saying some words that are unanswered to you and things like that. So for me, that is the main point, that the universe is talking all the time. We're in that field. We have that access to that information. It's just that we need to believe in it. We need to take it, embrace it, and actually notice it and start taking it on account and saying, wow, I have received this message and this other one and this other one. I was walking down the street and I was listening and opening up my senses, my emotions, all my sensory receivers, and I'm getting all the messages that I can from life. And it talks all the time to us. So that's my experience with it. That's how I've changed my life so many times. That's how I travel around the world. I feel I have to go to a place and suddenly somebody comes and says that he's going to that place or that knows somebody there. So they're happening all the time, all those messages. And that's my experience that I can tell. So it's about us listening, not if it's talking or not.
True.
So
That's very true.
True.
I think
yeah,
it's great, and I have certainly experienced that, and I agree that the more you open up your senses, the more little signs you see. Like you may have a thought, and unless you're opening up to those different signs, they may bypass you. So I love that concept of opening up all your senses to take in what is happening and what has the potential of happening, right? It's awesome.
okay. I know you have both also lots of experience with this. I know you're both very in tune with life and its messages. So it would be lovely if you shared.
Carol, do you
Well,
want to
Palak,
could I? Oh,
I think you need to talk about your book a little bit, because Is Life as We Know It, your book, that's a pretty remarkable example, I think, of you and your sister and how you channeled messages from the universe and shared them with the world. And y'all need to go buy your book, but go ahead.
yeah, you know what? Since you say that, sorry, Maria, you were saying something.
So that we'll put the link below so
Oh,
that you
okay.
can find Palak's video.
Oh, okay.
Your book.
What I'm saying is you're so right, because I used to always call these messages whispers from the universe. I actually, in my book proposal as well, I've written these are whispers from the universe, because these, when we were going through challenging times in our life, you're right. The universe did speak to us, and that was via this book. Because my sister is the one who got the sudden urge to write, and because we had certain health conditions of our loved ones at home, and we had all these questions: why does this happen, and why does it? Why do human beings, have to suffer, and what is this nature? We were questioning existence as such, and then she suddenly started getting answers on a daily basis. Used to get this urge to write, and words would just flow. And she would get answers to the questions that we were just talking about the previous night. So you're right, these are whispers of the universe, or the universe is constantly talking to us. It's just we have to listen, but we're so busy with our lives, working on solutions and to
Sorry,
whatever
Tickle.
challenges are coming to us on a daily basis. You're right, Carol. Just ignore. You don't tend to listen. You think it's just your mind running into multiple places, but sometimes these whispers are so subtle and so soft that you tend to
Mhm.
ignore them. But those are the ones that you need to. I know they say it's a challenge sometimes initially to find out which is your higher self or your intuition or your universe talking to you versus my mind speaking. But they say the more you listen to it, you will make a mistake 10 times, but that one time you might get it right. Oh, I listened to my higher self, or I listened to the universe, and this was it. The more you start getting it, the more they say it becomes more frequent. So, yeah, I guess we just have to give it a try for those of us who are not very well versed with it, and who are not used to knowing which is the voice of the universe and which is just my mind going. "Gang, gang, gang, gang." So, yes, this book is the one which was every chapter is a different topic. One is on movement, one is on truth, one is suffering, one is newness, one is on judgment. I mean, all different various topics. So you can, one can just pick up the book and read a topic, randomly look at a topic and read it. So these actually they were answers to our questions the previous night that me and my sister would talk about. The next day she would get a whole chapter on it. And yes, this is the universe talking, and we got it in the form of a book. Amazing, huh?
Yeah, I think that that word whisper is very, very accurate because it
Yeah.
doesn't shout.
It
It's
doesn't.
very subtle. It's very, it's not disruptive. It's just there. And if you look at it, it's so visible. But if you don't, you can not, you can pass by and not notice it because it's not shouting out to you. It's just right there if you want to look at it.
Right.
But at the same time, when you start training yourself in looking for those answers, because every time you have a question, the answer comes. Every time, it's always answered. But sometimes it's so subtle. It's like when you start having a sensation in the body that is not right, and you just go and say, "Well, I don't care. I have to, do this and that, go shopping and do the laundry and all these things that you have to do for your job, etc., etc." And you don't stop to listen, but the answer was there already, and then that sensation starts to become more and more visible and more visible, and a friend of mine calls it a cosmic hit, when you're not listening and suddenly the word is so strong that it makes you stop right there, and it's like a slap in the face. It's like, now you're going to listen. So you have a
Now you
bad
better
And
listen.
sick, or there's something that has happened to you, and then it's like, oh my God, but you hadn't listened before. But
Mm.
if you would, then you would know, and it would be so fluid and so easily flowing with it and knowing what to do. It's just that we are so stubborn and we don't listen. But it's very easy to learn when you put your attention and your intention, when you say, I want to receive that message, and I'm going to stay in that receiving state. And that's the only practice.
Oh, thank you
Well,
for
I have a really good example. I agree with you that there's a lot of whispers. But I had something happen to me that was the universe screaming at me, at us. Because on our first boat, we had a lot of problems on it, and we had a continual debate, almost weekly about should we cut bait, sell the boat, and go back to land. And there were a lot of heated discussions associated with this. The lifestyle of living on a boat is much harder than we possibly could have imagined. And each time we had the debate, the next morning we would always wake up and we didn't really want to go back to land, but we didn't know what else to do. So we just kept going. And then 16 months after we bought that boat, we were in the middle of the ocean, and that's when we had our catastrophic accident. And the boat sunk and we were rescued, and you probably heard bits and pieces of the story. But the bottom line for what we're talking about that happened was the universe finally said to us, I'm tired of listening to this ongoing debate. I'm making the decision for you. Boom, you are done with this boat. And you have to go back to land.
my God.
Just temporarily. But we didn't know what to do, when we got back to land. We didn't want to be there. But I trusted that the universe made that decision for us, and that the universe was going to just walk with us, trying to figure out what we're doing. We're going to go on new adventures, and eventually our next path, whether it be land, another boat, RVing, will be unveiled to us when the time is right. And that's what I manifested after that. But to me, it was like a rude awakening after the accident. And that dawned on me that, oh, the universe just said, no, you guys are done. I'm tired of listening to you.
Yeah.
So
And
yeah,
I think it's
it
amazing
was
how
not
you
it was
tell
not a subtle speaking on that one.
not that
It was a slap which Maria was
Yeah.
talking about. Knock on you.
Yeah, and it's amazing how you tell that story in your book about how you start manifesting and then things happen, and how you build that relationship with the universe so that you start manifesting and listening and receiving messages, and then that's the key thing. So if anybody wants to start that process, you can either read Palak's book or read Carol's book or come
When
in for
it's
a
published,
training.
it's not published yet.
Well, not like
Soon.
it might be when somebody sees this video, so you never know. Contact Carol. She will tell you if the book is published,
That's
and
right.
we'll put the contact below. So yeah, I think it's very important to actually learn to listen and to be humble enough to ask for that information from the universe. Like, what's the answer? And it's really nice when you start realizing that you don't need to know everything. You just need to listen. And that's so relaxing, because for a person like me who lives in quite an uncertain way, like I don't know, I don't have an 8 to 5 job. I don't have a house that I have bought. I live here and there. I travel. I am creating my work all the time. So when somebody has to make so many decisions all the time about where to be, how to go, how to create a project that is, if it's going to work or not, how to make it work, then sometimes to have the universe and know that it's got your back and it is going to tell you what to do and how to do it and when to do it, it's so relaxing that, I mean, for my nervous system, it's a basic need to build that relationship with it. And I can say that I've been living on that basis for 4 years now, actually, and it's the best choice I've ever done.
Wow. And they say
Amazing.
the way to find out if it's your mind talking or if it's the universe trying to tell you something is whichever decision, if it's a decision between this or that, whichever decision feels lighter to you and
Yeah,
gives you that giggle in your heart. That one
I
is
like
what
that.
is the voice of the universe. It's trying to tell you
Right.
it's going to make you feel lighter. But if it's going to bring
Yeah.
in fear and density, then that's not the universe. That's your mind and your brain.
Yeah, and there's
I
something
love
very
that.
specific with that, because sometimes both choices can be fearful. I mean, you can be afraid of
Yes.
any choice because you're afraid in that situation.
Yeah.
But there's one that even if you're afraid of taking it, there's a point of certainty, of peacefulness inside that is saying, I'm scared of that, but I know. You know,
Ah,
it's
Right.
like I'm scared, but it feels better, and it feels like if I already had taken that step, if I already knew and I had already done it, how would I feel? And it's like centered and breathing, and the
Yeah.
stomach is relaxing. And then the other one is like, okay, I've taken this, I have already done it, but it's not so peaceful. And it might be scary as well. You know, even the peaceful one can be scary. Because I know, because I've been traveling abroad and not knowing where to go, etc., etc. But there's a feeling of knowing inside, of certainty inside,
Yeah.
that
That
lightness, peacefulness.
that's where that expression "trust your gut"
yeah.
comes
Trust your
from,
gut.
right? You
Exactly.
trust your gut.
Yeah.
Trust.
Innately, we all know inside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why
There's
sometimes it's funny. I have trouble making decisions, and I like somebody to give me an opinion on something. Because when I hear somebody else's opinion, then I know my true feelings will come out, whether I agree with that or not.
That's a good one.
yeah. Or sometimes it's really good to flip a coin and say if it's heads or if it's cross. If it's heads is this, if it's cross is this. And whichever comes out is going to give you a solution. Because if one comes out and you say, damn it, I would like the other one to have come out, is
Then
the
you
other
know.
one. Then
True.
That's great.
Yeah. So
Okay, so
we already know. Mhm,
Wow, this
mhm.
is so fascinating, yeah? To know that the
Yeah.
universe is constantly talking to you, all we have to do is listen.
Right. So I would love to, and I think we three would love to know how the universe is talking to you. If you've got any messages from the universe, if you had any experience about it, let us know, and it will be great so that we can learn also from you and we can share with you. So nice to read your messages and comments. And as Palak always says,
If you've liked our video, like, share, and please subscribe.
see you very soon, all of
see you
you.
next week.
See ya.